the biggest cheers and whistles were when Salman's entry came and them together. This is something that will stay with you for life, isn't it?
Salman and Shah Rukh have come together, and what made it exciting for us is to see them actually doing action.
Right. You have only worked with stars. How many people have that?
Mr. Bachchan,
Yes.
obviously Shah Rukh sir, Salman Khan, Hrithik Roshan, Sanjay Dutt. You can't imagine Sanjay Dutt doing anything else but being a star.
What is your experience with Aditya Chopra?
He's not a human being, he's an alien.
What is Deepika Padukone like to work with?
She's like a hero. She's akin to, it was like a 3-hero film. With
Right,
Shah Rukh, John and Deepika, a 3-hero film. Hi, this is Siddharth Anand and you're watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.
Siddharth Anand, welcome to Bollywood Hungama, and I can't think of a better time to interview you. So firstly, big congratulations from all of us.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for having me.
You know, the first thing we want to know is that what is today's state of mind? Relieved, relaxed, happy?
I'm happy but nervous when I'm giving interviews. So I'm kind of conflicted.
Film-wise, are you like sorted? Are you in a mind space? I mean, it's tough to say, but these kind of numbers and this kind of reaction, did one expect somewhere?
I was just hoping that we get the love because obviously it's Shah Rukh Khan, coming back on screen after a few years. So there is a generation that has grown, and there is a new generation that has come in the last 4 years. So I was just hoping that they know the aura, the love, the magnitude of Shah Rukh Khan and the impact he has on Indian cinema.
Right.
That audience also connects because he has a very strong audience base. Over the last 3 decades, he has entrenched himself in their hearts.
Right.
So I also wanted the new audience
Right.
to come and experience the magic of Shah Rukh Khan. I was nervous for that, and if that came in, yes, that would entail big numbers. So we wanted that. Obviously, we didn't expect it, but we wanted. But not this. This has blown out of proportion.
Right. So was it just the first show that was a jump start and you all figured that this has gone out of hands?
I think the fact that we opened shows at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Normally my film's first show is normally 12.
Right.
12 p.m. And so when we opened shows at 9 a.m. it was very nervous. We were very nervous. And then seeing the response to that, we opened 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Seeing the response to that, 7 a.m.
Right.
Seeing the response to that, 6 a.m. That's when we stopped. So we knew that there is a certain buzz for the film, and we expected, because we could see the advance coming through.
Right.
But we didn't expect it to become this.
Right. Yeah. You also now, you're responsible for Shah Rukh's great comeback. He kept saying at the press conference, he always wanted to be an action hero. We love him as a romantic hero. There's a huge conflict there.
Yeah, we all do.
Right. So the thing is, when you talked to him, when you first spoke to him about this film, was he really expecting you to make a romantic film?
No, I think by then I'd actually shifted genres.
Okay.
I had done Bang Bang, and then I'd done War. And it was during the release of War is when we actually met him for it.
Right.
And so we went to him saying it's an action film.
Right.
And so he expected that, and I don't think he was in that frame of mind he had just done a romantic comedy.
Right.
Recently. So I think it was prudent of him to also, choose an action film to come back, because it'd be if he's taking a gap, come back in something that the audience hasn't seen him and it seems fresh.
Right.
So it was prudent of him to do that, and lucky for us.
Right, lucky for everyone. Every girl, guy, Shah Rukh Khan fan would want to hear this. It's a simple question. What is it like to direct him?
I think it's addictive.
It is, yeah.
I think having him on set for everybody, he's such a joy.
Yeah.
He just doesn't, make his aura felt. And, small things like when he comes and he says good morning to everybody individually. Good morning and good night. And in the end, thank you. It's a mark of a great person.
Yeah.
I think... So when I used to shoot him, and even if I'm not shooting his shot, I would be directing the other actor and setting up. He would be sitting on that chair over there. and suddenly someone would tap me to turn to him. It was him and saying, "Sid, can I just go to the loo and come?" And I'm like, no, you can't be asking me this. So he's such an amazing person to just have on set, the energy.
Right. And also the we all watched it with the audience. We are also the audience. The biggest cheers and whistles were when Salman's entry came and them together. This is something that will stay with you for life, isn't it?
I think it's also the thing is that Salman and Shah Rukh have come together and done cameos in each other's films. So what made it special and what made it exciting for us is to see them actually doing action together.
Yeah.
So obviously they've done cameos where they've come in for a guest appearance, done a scene and done a sweet scene or something and gone. But this was a huge action sequence. So the X factor, what we wanted to do was to make them do comedy in that. Again, is something that you wouldn't think of.
Right.
So we just wanted to keep breaking the mold, and that's what has gone down well with the audience, the humor in that.
Right.
Obviously, they can do great action. So we were like, what else can we give them? Give the audience more. So we did some nice, funny one-liners, subtle one-liners, but fun for the audience.
Right. No, you and your writers, you all did a great job with those one-liners, whether it's chewing gum, whether it's just that banter that they had. Were they open to all this?
A lot of it comes from them also.
Yeah. Okay.
The chewing gum line actually came from Salman himself when we were dubbing. So, it's their personalities. We played to that. And it was a lot of improvisation. Obviously, there was a bed of dialogues and we improvised on that and brought in their characters and what they are as personalities.
Right. When you write films and dialogues and, when you sit with your team for massive stars like these, is it keeping the image in mind that this is what they can pull off, let's do this?
So you have to be a little cognizant of the personality.
Right.
For example, when I write for Hrithik, for example, my brief to the writers is that you can't think of him as a young hero.
Right.
Like how a Ranbir would say those
lines. Right.
Because I've worked with Ranbir also, I've worked with Saif also, and Saif was much younger at that point in time. So I was used to writing it for young boys. Now I'm making these films with men. So there's a transition that you have to be aware of. That you need to pass on to the writers also. And usually these writers are normally writing films for boys.
Right.
So when the draft comes to me, these are words that I know I can't give it to Hrithik to say these because he's going to be uncomfortable. So as a director, you need to know what an actor will be comfortable doing, and that you need to obviously lead the team. That's my job.
Right.
So to get them all aligned to that. So yes, you have to keep an actor's personality in mind when you're writing dialogues and scenes.
Right. Everyone involved in this film is a big name, from the studio to you to Deepika to Salman. But when there's something magical about Shah Rukh, that everything becomes about Shah Rukh. This is a Shah Rukh film. His fans are going crazy. Is he aware of that? Does he? I mean, he's so humble and he obviously shares the hit with everyone on the stage yesterday we saw. But do you see that?
No, he doesn't permeate that aura himself. But it's there.
It's there.
It's Shah Rukh Khan. The true mark of a star, what I believe is that if you and me are sitting and talking over here, and from there he enters, you feel the vibe of the room change.
True.
That is a hallmark of a big star. So you'll realize with the body language of people from the corner of my eye shifting, becoming this, and then you'll turn and see, oh, that is somebody come, you'll stand up yourself. That is a true hallmark of a big star.
Right.
And very few people have that.
So
that actually permeates into the audience, and that aura goes in. So even if Shah Rukh sir doesn't want to project that, it's there, it's inherent, and you have it, and you can't help but treat him like Shah Rukh Khan.
Right. You have only worked with stars. How many people have that? That when they enter the room, how many people do you think have that?
I think, I'll tell you, you know it. I mean, when Mr. Bachchan, obviously Shah Rukh sir, Salman Khan, Hrithik Roshan, Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah, of course, right.
Massive personality. I mean, just the fact, you can't imagine Sanjay Dutt doing anything else but being a star.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look
He's
at
walking
him.
in there.
You can't have him, you can't think of him working in a corporate office, behind a desk, behind a computer. It's Sanjay Dutt.
It's Sanjay Dutt, right.
So some people are born to be superstars.
Right. You have always had hits. Does this, also your films have come during the pandemic, your films have come before, after, but there's some kind of a, foolproof formula that you have. And this keeps raising the bar. With Pathaan, you have really entered another league. Does this cross your mind? Do you take that pressures?
The thing is that I've been very, what do you call that, pressure proof.
Yeah.
And
Look at you. Doesn't look like you've been the biggest hit.
Thankfully, my personality is that I don't take stress. I don't like to take stress because I believe in what has to happen will happen. You just do your job. By taking stress, initially one would take on small things. But especially at the eve of my release, I never take stress.
So one day before the release, you sleep properly,
Very well.
full 8?
Very well.
Wow.
Very well.
That's something.
I get great sleep, but I didn't get sleep this time.
Because you had morning shows.
I had a morning show. That stress was also the pressure of this film is something else.
Right.
So this is an event, it's not a film. So,
right. On Bollywood Hungama also we have there's a director. When you go in one of the columns, there's a director's list. You are amongst the top directors on number, and you're climbing that ladder. Do you ever go and check these things? Does this play on your mind that I want to be even higher and number one?
I think I haven't checked it, but I would be lying if I'd say it's not on my mind.
Okay.
I think anybody would be lying.
Right.
Why would you do something in your life if you don't want to be the best?
Right.
Why would you want to do it?
Right.
And then if you don't want to be the best at what you're doing, you're not being fair to your job, and you're not being fair to people who depend on you.
Right.
So me being the best will benefit everybody else working with me.
Absolutely. Right.
So if I'm the best, I'll want people. I'll automatically have people giving their best to me, which will benefit everybody else down the chain.
Right.
Forget my crew, forget my actors, forget my technicians, even cinema owners.
Right.
Their staff. Everybody else will benefit if I do my job well.
And it did.
So everybody wants to be the best, and why not? Hell yeah, why not?
Right. Could you also tell the audience that doesn't know what is it? You and the studio have worked for on interesting projects. What is Aditya Chopra like? What is his I recently interviewed Kabir Khan, and he said Yash Raj is the best school that I've had. When there's a big hit, they didn't make me feel like. When I didn't perform, they didn't make me feel like. What is your experience with Aditya Chopra?
I think I can't really put it into words in one interview.
Yeah.
But
just generally to give us an idea, what is his experience like?
So he's not a human being. He's unlike anybody else. He's an alien.
Right.
Because he's so unaffected, and I think everybody uses the words humble, down to earth, and stuff like that.
Right.
Unaffected is the right word by success or failure. He marches on and does what is right for the film. When I say he's unlike anybody, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Very early on, we were starting a film called Bachna Hai Hasino.
Right.
And we had signed on Ranbir for the film. And Ranbir was coming off a film with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Savarya. It had not come out.
Correct.
And we had signed him for his second film.
Okay.
And in our mind, we had Hrithik Roshan just after Kaho Na Pyar Hai.
Wow.
That he will be the biggest superstar of the country, instant sensation, which he had the buzz around him.
Right.
And we thought we'll make this film of this Casanova with 4 girls at that point in time.
Okay.
So we'll mount it in that way. And we'll have the flexibility and the budget ability to do that. But unfortunately, the film didn't do well.
Okay, yeah.
And we suddenly had a hero who we had to resurrect.
Right.
In a way.
Yeah.
Any producer at that point in time would say, cut the budget, make it a smaller film, let's make it more intimate. But Adi did the opposite. So he said, now Sid, we'll have to scale the film even more.
Wow.
Because we were depending on the stardom of an actor. Now it's gone.
Right.
Now it's a film that will actually have to carry it and bring audiences initially.
Right.
Because they're not coming to see the star, they're coming to see the film.
Right.
So that's what Adi is. And he allowed me to scale it up in a way that we shot in practically 7 countries again in a love story.
Right.
Brought that scale in the songs, in the scenes, from Switzerland to Italy,
Australia
to Thailand, where all and whatnot. So that's the man who just packs the film what it needs.
Amazing.
And doesn't look at returns. So he's so honest to his craft.
Amazing, absolutely amazing to hear that. You know, and just talking about social media, are you on social media? After the release, we saw Pathaan, you know, fans going crazy and Shah Rukh fans going crazy. Before the release was another story. There was boycott trends going on. What goes on in a director's mind when that happens?
It's unnerving and unnecessary because we hadn't made a film that should draw any attention to any negativity.
Right.
We made an entertaining commercial film. In a way, it's patriotic.
Yes.
You feel patriotic. Just this morning, someone sent me a video where, in the scene where Pathan's character does a salute to Dimple ma'am, you saw a man standing up in the theatre and unfurling the flag of the country. So it brings out that fervor.
Right.
So to see such negativity around this film, it just is heartbreaking and unnerving, unnecessary. So I hear about these things, we read about these things, but no, I'm not on any social media.
Okay. You know, I also want to ask you, when the film worked on Wednesday, when did you first talk to Shah Rukh and what was that conversation like?
I spoke to him at 6:30 in the morning. And shockingly...
Post the release, post the reactions.
Post the reactions, because he was awake. He doesn't wake up so early generally, so both of us didn't sleep, and we were like, okay, what happens is people start tweeting live reactions. So he started saying, yaar, ip logon ko achhi lag rahi hai, and I was like, oh my god, my fingers crossed, and we kept, every hour we connected, and we were just so amazed and relieved initially, and then by the evening, it just blew up.
Amazing. Yeah, and I also saw yesterday when you were leaving the hotel, people were asking you, Pathaan 2 aayegi, what do you want to tell them? This is still running successfully.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on, it's only 6 days. so it's on our mind, obviously. We've set out to make a universe, so there will be more sequels coming up, God willing. But it's too damn early, man. Let it just sink in.
So do you jump into Fighter immediately?
I have already dived into Fighter. I finished one schedule of Fighter. And I leave for shoot on Friday now.
Is it easy to disconnect from that, come to Pathaan, do this whole thing that you're doing even now, and then jump back into that?
No, it's not easy. I've never done this before. I'm doing it now. It's really tough. But I'm just hoping I switch off from Pathaan at some point in time and dive into Fighter.
And I also see a lot of actors supporting the film. Like, you know, I saw Hrithik going to the cinemas. He always does that, actually. You know, so, you know, is that heartwarming to see your own industry supporting your film?
It should be like that, because actually we have to understand that, you know, we benefit each other in a way. I mean, people say it, but they need to see the long-term benefits of it. That people get into the groove of watching films, they start believing that films are entertaining, they'll trust the filmmakers more, they'll trust going to the experience, they'll trust taking out money that, okay, we'll get entertained. Because if you keep disappointing them and you don't support each other, so they will not come out there, and how will you make films?
Siddharth, you know, the kind of numbers you've managed to touch with War and with Pathaan, these are 300 crore plus. You know, unheard numbers. One is that when you're filming it, do you get an idea somewhere कि मुझे लगता है ये फिल्म निकल जाएगी and it will cross a huge number?
यार वो कोई बोलेगा हाँ तो झूठ बोल रहा है. सबकी उम्मीद होती है. You know क्या हो गया ना, when you're making films ना, somehow the benchmark has become 300.
Yeah.
वो 300 has become like benchmark. 300 करेगी कि नहीं करेगी. That become the finishing line. So सबको पार तो करना है. I would be lying if I said I didn't want to. So when we set out, obviously, if anyone asked me what's your ambition with the film, I said, यार war से 1 crore कर ले ज़्यादा. So my benchmark was that ये भी 300 कर ले. And so it's like unbelievable कि उसने 306 दिन में कर लिया.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing.
So that is what is the biggest high, I think.
Biggest high. But you know, you are being labeled as this 300 crore director. Is this motivation to perform better in the future, or is this pressure to perform better?
Both, both. I think it's a combination of motivation, because you know that what you're doing, you're thinking and what you're doing is connecting with the audience. So it's motivating, and the pressure is that now, यार 300 नहीं किया तो बोलेंगे picture successful नहीं है. So 250 भी किया तो बोलेंगे. It's the framework of our system here. So yeah, I mean, I want to cross that finishing line again.
So you know, you'll continue working in this league. You've worked with stars like you know, Shah Rukh, of course, now Hrithik, you work with Saif, you work with Salman, you work Deepika Padukone, you name them and you've worked with these top stars. You will continue to make movies with film stars at this level?
I hope so.
These are your A-grade films?
I hope so. They see value in that. And but I'm open to anything here. I'm open to like Saif wasn't that big star.
Right.
I wasn't a big director, of course.
Ranveer
was
a
a newcomer.
Star,
Hrithik was my first encounter with a big superstar, and he's been gracious enough actually to actually work with me at that point in time and have faith in me and continuously show support.
Right.
And Hrithik has been a big contributor and a supporter in my life and career.
Right. You know, post Pathaan and this kind of success, what is Siddharth Anand's frame of mind? Like, what is this frame of mind? This kind of success, these kind of numbers. Does it, like, you know, bolte na ki it's easy to start flying.
I think also it's a grounding comes at home. I mean, you do fly when you step out, and my wife pulls me down. Wife shows me the mirror and the ground and grounds me. So I'm grateful to her to actually be responsible for a lot of reality check in my life.
Right, that's
and
important.
it's not easy. It's not easy because if you
right.
get this kind of success and this kind of acclaim, when you step out, you know, your phone doesn't stop ringing, and you have everyone from every actor to producer to a studio, and you know, and writers acknowledging what you're doing. And it's humbling and yet it's empowering.
Right.
And then you come home and the wife says, sit down. You are this. So stop believing all that.
Right.
Get down, work harder for your next one.
Right.
So yeah, it's a great balance here.
Right. You know, when you started War and when you started Pathaan, did you know that you're creating a franchise, or that time it was just a solo film project?
So it was solo. At least War was a solo standalone film.
Right.
And the success of War empowered us to make it into a franchise. Obviously, when we were starting Pathaan, we knew it's going to be part of this universe. But the success of a film only allows it to be a franchise.
Right.
So the fact that these two are standalone films and are so successful empower us to make franchises out of them.
Right. You know, many filmmakers are now getting into this thing of franchise, and we'll continue seeing Siddharth Anand do this only. Will we lose the other director, Siddharth Anand, who makes other films?
For a while, yeah.
Okay.
For a while, yeah. So I'm
not
enjoying
very happy with that.
I'm okay, yeah. I'm okay. Right now, obviously, there's Pathaan, there was War, there's Fighter, which hopefully, if it does well, obviously it warrants a franchise. Rambo is already an action film, which we are producing, which is already a franchise internationally, a massive franchise internationally. So right now, as a producer with my company in Marflix and as a director myself, we are actually dabbling with films that have potential value in being franchises. Yeah.
Right. What is your company's vision?
My company is called Marflix.
Right.
It's right now dabbling in films that are tentpole action films. Big scale action films with big pressures. So we're taking baby steps. Yeah, we're just a new company, and our first film is Fighter. Right. And everything depends on that. Yeah. So I mean, I can't have big plans.
And we can expect similar scale, fight, action.
Hopefully, Pathaan is a big. Tall order and huge shoes to fill in. So we're trying it. We're just starting out.
Right. I also want to cover one thing. I don't want to get trolled by Deepika's fans. Please, last time I did ask you, what is Deepika Padukone like to work with? Because I saw people going crazy in the theaters when she came on the screen.
Deepika Padukone is a massive star. Yeah.
Right.
Massive star. You realize when you work with her, what her fans' expectations are. She's like a hero. She's akin to, it was like a 3-hero film. With Shah Rukh, John and Deepika, 3-hero film.
Totally.
So you have the pressure of mounting and satisfying those fans of hers. And she's so effortless.
Yeah.
She's so full of grace.
Easy to work?
Brilliant to work with.
Okay.
Brilliant. She's like you want to see her around on set. She's so eye candy, so much eye candy also. And she's so effortless on screen. Yeah. When she does action, when she does the emotion, when she dances.
Right.
She's a complete Hindi film heroine.
Lastly, you know, is there an advantage of having franchise attached to your name?
It's an advantage, yes. There's a pressures also. not all franchises, though, not all part 2s have done well.
Okay.
Not all part 1s have been turned into part 2s. You set out to say, I'm going to make a franchise out of it, doesn't happen. It's all audiences love that allows us.
Right.
But you can't set out with plans, yeah. Like it's like man makes plans and God disposes them.
Right, right. Are we going the Avengers way? Are we going the Avatar way, where people have loved it and then we'll keep giving them
That's
more?
a natural tendency, yeah. Internationally, they used to make Die Hard, which was not supposed to be a franchise. It turned out to be Die Hard 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
They made Rambo, which was actually called First Blood, and then turned out to be Rambo 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
So you don't set out to make a franchise.
Right.
It's the love that the audience gives, that they want to see more of it.
And you give
That's why it becomes a franchise.
Right.
Hi, this is Siddharth Anand, and you're watching this interview on Bollywood Hungama.